A fiery crash shuts down a busy Georgia interstate. We'll show you the explosion. Dawson's newly re-elected mayor discusses his plans for his second term, what he hopes to accomplish.
He wouldn't want me to say this, but he's still my baby, you know.
A Lee County judge talks about his son's deployment to Africa, how he and other soldiers are helping fight the ongoing Ebola crisis.
Now, in high definition, live, local, late breaking, this is WALB News 10 at 6.
A tanker truck explodes after colliding with a car, shutting down Interstate 185 near Columbus. The northbound lanes remain closed almost 6 hours after the wreck.
Officials say road crews may need to re-asphalt the interstate after the diesel burned for almost an hour. WALB News 10's Wright Gazaway was on the scene moments after the crash and shows us more from the fiery wreck.
These were some of the biggest flames I have ever seen. I could actually feel the heat as we stood about 150 yards away. An interstate wreck turns into an explosive, dangerous situation. Witnesses say this car was traveling south about 11:30 this morning when it shot across the median and hit a guardrail and then slammed into this tanker truck carrying diesel. At the scene, the truck driver told Harris County Sheriff's deputies what happened.
I seen him going across. I started slowing down. You know what I mean? But if I can't stop in the middle of the road, you know what I mean? Because I was doing 65.
Several drivers ran across the interstate to help the man in the car. Emergency crews arrived about 15 minutes after the crash and took the driver of the car to the hospital. Paula Finney helped the truck driver just after it happened and was overcome with emotion.
I was traveling south on 185. The driver that crossed the median that hit the 18-wheeler. I can't do this. I can't do it.
Hazmat crews and GDOT officials responded to the scene after hundreds of gallons of diesel burned on the roadway. Further tests will help them determine the next steps.
They're waiting on a supervisor to get on scene to X-ray the road. They may have to dig that up and put new asphalt down depending on how the X-rays show.
GDOT officials don't know how long this closure will last. You saw witnesses helping the driver of that other car. They say he had a broken ankle and several cuts, but did not seem to have any life-threatening injuries.
Caught on camera, surveillance video captures two crooks who tried to steal frozen food from one of Thomasville's most popular restaurants. Police say an employee of Jonah's Fish and Grits was closing up the restaurant around midnight last night when he walked in on two men stuffing garbage bags full of food. Police say the suspects bolted empty-handed right after they were spotted by the worker.
He did not see any weapons, but he did not approach them. He did fear for his life, so he kind of stood back and called 911 and let us, officers respond.
If you have any information about this crime, you're asked to call the Thomasville Criminal Investigation Division at 227-3302.
Investigators are looking into a third arson in 5 days in an East Albany neighborhood. This car was stolen and torched early this morning. Robert Jackson's Dodge 300 was stolen in the 200 block of East Road, a few blocks from Saturday's fatal fire on Clark Avenue and Molotov cocktail attacks Tuesday. The thieves took the car to Silica Drive at the Sand Dunes. Investigators say when they couldn't get the rims and tires off the car, they burned it. Tonight, Albany police continue the hunt for this man, 41-year-old Sam Bryant. He's charged with murder in that arson-fired death of 26-year-old Cordell Brown. Brown's body was found in the burned apartment in the 1700 block of Clark Avenue Saturday morning. An autopsy found Brown died of smoke and soot inhalation.
There was a great possibility he was asleep, and it seemed like he was trying to get out of the house at the time, the way he was laying in the living room.
Investigators say they're still trying to determine if the 3 arson incidents in that area are connected. If you have any information about Bryant, call Crime Stoppers at 436-TIPS.
There's less graffiti around Albany, and city and county officials credit the help of people calling the 311 information line to report graffiti. WALB News 10's Aaron Valenzuela is live at Veterans Memorial Park in Albany with more.
City City officials say graffiti is not something that citizens should have to tolerate. Many of you remember when this World War II monument behind me was vandalized last summer. You can still see some of the marks along the bottom because the paint got into the granite. In the last 2 years, the number of reported graffiti sites has dropped by more than 50%. Judy Bowles with Keep Albany Doherty Beautiful says 2 years ago they cleaned up about 220 graffiti sites. That's compared to just 39 this year. She wants people to continue to use the 311 hotline.
Significant drop, and I think that's because the people putting graffiti up know that if it goes up, we're going to remove it. You, as a business owner or a citizen, have 5 days to take it down.
Bowles encourages anyone, if they see graffiti around the city, to use the 311 hotline and they can help remove it. Now, she stresses she's not a professional painter, but she does have paint in her office that can cover up the graffiti at no cost to residents. In Albany, reporting live, I'm Erin Valenzuela for WALB News 10.
We'll take a look at how voter turnout in Doherty County compared with statewide turnout.
Plus, how an Albany organization wants homeowners to help cut down on crime.
And Dawson's mayor emerges victorious in a heated bid for re-election. How he hopes residents can now move forward. The mayor of Dawson says it's full speed ahead after winning a second term.
But he's hoping the community can come together after another close race. Christopher Wright is looking forward to his next term as the mayor of Dawson.
I think the atmosphere has been set, so now it's time to move full speed ahead.
Wright defeated Robert Albritton by just 39 votes.
I think it could go either way.
Residents and Christopher Wright were not surprised that it was a close race.
So much controversy about, so much going on in the community, so it's like give and take situation. So I was expecting that. Yes, I was expecting that it would be a close race.
Albritton had served as mayor of Dawson for 22 years before losing to Wright 2 years ago by 29 votes.
I thought it would end the way that it would. I thought it would be a close race. And as we can see from the results, it seems like I gained a few supporters.
The 24-year-old Dawson native was hospitalized a year ago after being shot multiple times in his home. Police have never made any arrests in the case, but Wright says he's not concerned.
I guess you can say I would have to take matters into my own hand, but as far as security is concerned, I think I'll be just fine with that.
And he's hoping now the community can unite despite the large amount of support for his opponent.
But to gain support across the board would be perfect, I think so, in order to move the city forward.
Tune in tonight at 11 to hear more about Christopher Wright's plans for his next term.
Doherty County elections officials are pleased with yesterday's voter turnout, but say it could always be better. 47.5% of registered voters in Doherty County cast ballots in the general election. That's below the statewide turnout of 49.9%. Election Supervisor Ginger Nickerson says there was a steady stream of voters at many of the 28 precincts in the county yesterday.
Of course, we would like to have been in the higher percentile. We always look forward to more voters coming out. But we were pleased with the turnout that the majority of the precincts did see a majority of steady flow of traffic.
The Mary Acres and Beatty Road precincts each saw more than 700 voters. There are more than 50,000 registered voters in Doherty County. We're still waiting to get final numbers for early voting.
Albany Water, Gas and Light has begun a new campaign to help cut down on burglaries. WGNL is reaching out to homeowners and business owners to get more security lighting outdoors. They're also cutting installation and other fees. Employees say it's a cheap and easy way to help cut down on crime and prevent thieves from stealing property.
Way to get, neighborhoods and commercial properties to be lit. During this time of the year, you get a lot of burglaries, and so if it's well lit in an area, you're less likely to have any of that.
The campaign began last month, but WGNL employees say it's just getting rolled out to customers this month. For more information on the Security Light campaign, visit our website, WALB.com.
Crowds are flocking to the fair in Albany. What you need to know to enjoy the fun.
And why a South Georgia judge says he's concerned for his son as he deploys to West Africa in about 11 minutes.
Of course, we've had the overcast sky all day. Don't let it fool you if you're heading out to the Exchange Club Fair. They'll be around, but West, looks like our dry conditions will be on hold. Otherwise, temperatures slowly dropping into the 60s, so a fairly mild evening. Looks like the unseasonably mild air will hold at least one more day. After that, changes head our way for the weekend. Your 7-day extended forecast is next.
Now your WALB 24/7 weather with AMS meteorologist Yolanda Amadeo.
Well, this week started out rather chilly, and then we had the gradual warm-up, which has extended into this Wednesday. Of course, as we get into our Thursday, still holding on to the unseasonably warm air. Temperatures topping out near 80, but after that, we take a dive. Chilly once again as we get a surge of much colder air returning. It looks like it will hold through the weekend with a gradual warm-up as we get into the first part of next week. Well, on this midweek day, it has been an overcast sky. Of course, clouds have been rolling on in since last night. Only a peak or two of sun around South Georgia. As we continue throughout the evening, looks like clouds will be hanging tough all across the area. But in the meantime, with that cloud deck, temperatures remaining fairly mild throughout the next few hours. Well, our winds for this afternoon have been mostly coming in from the southeast and toward the southwest. That has provided us with a much milder air. As a result, our temperatures for this afternoon well above the average of around 73, mainly topping out upper 70s, even low 80s around. Bainbridge hit 81 degrees. Right now, readings are continuing to drop as the sun has set. Of course, we didn't see it today, however. 69 right now in the Good Life City, 64 in Americus, 75 in Camilla, 70 Moultrie and Thomasville, Valdosta right now at 72. As we continue throughout the evening, looks like those clouds will be hanging tough, still getting a plume of moisture back off to our west. It is in the form of persistent rainfall anywhere from Texas off toward the northeast. Also seeing some isolated showers trying to creep in across the southeast coast of Georgia. No impact here around South Georgia this evening, but all of this has been streaming off toward the northeast for the past few days. Northern portions of Mississippi, of course, has received a couple of inches of rain for today. All of that eventually heading eastward has been along this frontal boundary, which has been very slow and actually stalling out at times, so still finding it basically where it was earlier today. Eventually, it'll get a kick here into our area, and as it arrives, looks like the moisture plume will gradually diminish, and what that'll do for our rain chances, drop our chances significantly. But for our Thursday afternoon, that looks to be the best chance for showers around the area starting from lunchtime until about 6 p.m. As all of that pushes on through, it'll be very limited in nature. Only a few areas will get in on the action. The front will push through quickly, so by Thursday evening, as it moves on through, we'll have clearing of skies, and that will allow for the colder air to return as well. Breezy conditions, winds once again will shift back toward the northwest, and that's the direction we get the colder air. So temperatures will be tumbling as we end the week, and that chilly air mass holds on through the weekend, but not nearly as brutal as the last weekend. As we get into your Thursday morning, will be a cloudy start, some patchy fog in the areas, otherwise fairly mild. Temperatures near 60 as we start out. By midday, still fairly warm. We'll hold on to those warmer readings along with isolated showers for the afternoon, but throughout the evening, we start to clear things out. So it looks like, once again, near perfect conditions for the Exchange Club Fair. If you like the cooler weather for the fair, looks like Friday into the weekend will be your best bets to head on out. Otherwise, morning lows will bottom out upper 30s for the coldest on Saturday morning.
A Lee County judge talks about his son's efforts to help fight Ebola, why the trip is emotional for both father and son.
And let's take a live look at the Exchange Club Fairgrounds in Albany, where the Southwest Georgia Regional Fair is in full swing. We'll take you back out to the festivities next.
Crowds are streaming into the Exchange Club Fairgrounds for day 2 of the 68th annual Southwest Georgia Regional Fair.
The fair manager says it got off to a good start yesterday. WALB News 10 Shannon Wiggins is live at the fairgrounds with more on that success and security.
Manager Skip Nichols says yesterday's opening day numbers beat last year's. He says around 8,000 people attended opening day last year, and yesterday's numbers were up by at least 5%. He credits the increase to a big marketing push on Facebook. Officers from the Dougherty County Sheriff's Office, APD, and DCP are patrolling the fairgrounds, but organizers also hired DSI, a private security company out of Dothan, Alabama. They're using screening wands at the main gate to check bags and coats for weapons and open food and drink containers.
we make sure that's our #1 priority, because we focus on families, and we want the families to feel safe, where they can come out here and be with their kids and not worry about something happening out here on our fairgrounds.
There are also some exhibitions at the Hog Barn with FFA and showing how to properly use lawnmowers that you can check out an hour before the main gates open. Now, the main gates will open at 4 starting now until Friday. They'll open at 11 a.m. on Saturday and at 1 on Sunday. Reporting live in Albany from the Exchange Club Fairgrounds, I'm Shannon Wiggins, WALB News 10.
A Lee County judge's son who serves in the U.S. Army is headed to West Africa to help in the fight against Ebola. WALB News 10's Aaron Valenzuela talked with Chief Magistrate Judge Jim Thurman about his son's deployment.
Judge Thurman gets a little emotional when he talks about his son's deployment to West Africa.
We as American citizens sometimes forget that we owe our freedom to these brave young people.
His son, 28-year-old Josh Thurman, is going on his second deployment, and as any parent would be, Thurman is concerned.
Daddy could get in the car and drive to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, but Daddy can't drive to Africa.
Thurman says he's glad the U.S. helped out the humanitarian workers who are serving in West Africa, but says there's still a lot of confusion about the virus.
I don't believe that we're educated enough to really understand it, other than it's a dreaded disease and has certainly been fatal for a large number of people.
This comes as hundreds of pieces of military equipment are being sent to West Africa to help, everything from Humvees to dump trucks and forklifts. And while his son has concerns, he says he was in good spirits when he left.
He was upbeat, said he'd talk to me when he got home.
He's not sure how long he'll be in West Africa, but says he'll be praying for him in the meantime.
Instead of praying for him 3 or 4 times a day, I'm probably going to pray for him 10 or 12 times a day.
Thurman says he'll be in West Africa for at least 187 days. In Lee County, I'm Aaron Valenzuela for WALB News 10.
Business is probably about to pick up a lot for one South Georgia company that makes syrup. Find out why it's getting national attention.
And how MCLB wished a special happy birthday to the U.S. Marine Corps.
A councilman is shot and killed on Election Day. What the mayor of the city has to say about the crime. Plus, we'll also have the story from 4 siblings that want a home and a chance to stay together. We'll have their story and more tonight at 7 over on ABC. We'll see you then.
A Thomasville company catches the attention of none other than Oprah.
The Blackberry Patch has just been added to the 2014 list of Oprah's favorite things. Oprah's team discovered the company after tasting their samples at the New York Fancy Food Show. The company then sent products to the team and waited to hear back.
They ended up selecting all 5 of the items that we sent to them, which would be the blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, pumpkin spice, and apple butter syrups.
Jones says the team chose these syrups because they only have 3 ingredients: berries, sugar, and lemon juice. They'll be featured in the holiday gift guide published in O Magazine next month.
Our high school football player of the week helped his team grind out a key win and did it on both sides of the ball. Jake Wallace is at the sports desk with more.
The Crisp County Cougars playoff hopes are alive thanks to a big win over Monroe Friday night, and Terrence Bryant led the way. It was a slugfest in Cordele Friday night, and Bryant and the Cougars landed the final punch in a 14-6 win. The junior came through for Crisp, hauling in a touchdown catch and snagging the Cougars' first interception of the season. The Cougars now head into a region play-in game at Westover. Bryant says it will take a team effort to win.
Stopped them on a good play. They were going towards the touchdown, and Coach always told us we need the first interception of the season, and that will happen. We got to have, offense had to score more, and defense just got to make plays.
Stadium with a state playoff spot on the line. Another morning of excellence in the fishing game forecast. Get out there early and take advantage of 3 windows in the excellent range, all before 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon.
Marines at MCLB Albany are celebrating the Marine Corps' 239th birthday. They held a cake-cutting ceremony this morning for their annual celebration on the base. Marines dressed in period uniforms to honor their heritage and recognize significant moments in the Marine Corps history. The official birthday is Monday, November 10th.
Marines all over the world are going to gather and they're going to celebrate this birthday, no matter where they are. It could be a celebration like this one out in southwest Georgia, where it's beautiful. Marines in embassies around the world.
Mayor Dorothy Hubbard was in the crowd for the event. Colonel Don Davis had the honors of cutting the large birthday cake, a big celebration every year.
And the cake looked good, too. National News comes your way next on NBC and ABC.
Diane Dean will be back at 7 on ABC.
And I'll see you back here tonight for WALB News 10 at 11. Have a good evening.